All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to week 3 varsity action between Muskego and SPASH. So we're going to go ahead and get underway here with the picks and bans. Right away coming in from Muskego is going to go ahead and be a Rengar ban. I had an opportunity to spend a little bit of time this afternoon trying to scout out both teams here. Muskego coming in at 0-2 right now, having played Wausau West and DC Everest, which are two pretty high teams. Wausau West hasn't lost a game in over a year, so that's a tough challenge to start the season off. Meanwhile, SPASH is coming in with a 1-0 record, having played Tosa and Milton. One of those matches has not been reported or is scheduled to be remade. Still waiting to find out from that. So keeping an eye here on some of these picks and bans here. Muskego looks like they're going hard after the jungle right now, getting rid of Kane and Vagar. Meanwhile, SPASH is going to go ahead and get rid of Aphelios. Aphelios is Nab's Please, top played champion this season so far. Going to go ahead and get rid of the Akali. The Akali makes sense on both sides here. There are two players on each team that play Akali, so that one makes sense. The Lux ban coming out, which is going to be targeting TC Vang for SPASH. That's his top played champion right now this season. So again, we're in a brand new ranked season, so some of these picks and bans could be some serious scouting from last year as well, depending on how far back they looked into the match history. And then SPASH is going to go ahead and get rid of the Yasuo ban as well here. That can just be one of those champs that we always try to get rid of. But kind of looking over here, it's going to be a bit of an interesting matchup here. The Heim pick coming out. Going to go ahead and assume that's going for Adma the Epic, top 3 champ that he's playing right now this season. SPASH hovering the Thresh support here, but we'll see what they go ahead and lock in. I think both of these teams are coming in relatively even. I'm going to go ahead, based upon the solo queue rankings, I'm going to go ahead and give SPASH the slight advantage here. They have a little bit higher of a rank here, coming in with a diamond, 3 plats, a gold, and a silver on their varsity lineup here. While Muskego coming in with a diamond, 3 golds, a silver, and a bronze for their lineup. So a little bit higher solo queue grind coming out of SPASH. That doesn't mean that that's an indicator of an advantage, but it does usually mean that they've had more time to grind the game and learn a little bit more of its intricacies here. So the Olaf and Thresh coming in for SPASH. I like Olaf. He's a really efficient jungler, especially for the first 6 levels or so. He's able to speed clear quite a bit and make his ganks count. So they're going to have to take into account that early Olaf damage into the early game. Muskego's going to go ahead and lock in a nice bot lane of Misfortune and Nautilus. I'm a bit biased here because I am a Nautilus main, so really appreciate seeing that one coming out. It's a lot of good CC. Those hooks, looking for those hooks nice and early here, really important out of Nautilus. MF is a really high priority right now in the LCS. Right now it's kind of ranked Aphelios and Senna as the top 2, and then Misfortune coming in at 3rd. Jinx coming out here, which is LOL Rips' top 3 or 3rd most played champion on this season here. So getting some comfort picks coming out here from SPASH. Gonna go ahead and thanks for the subs and follows there. Into the next round of picks and bans here. Getting rid of the Riven. Riven was played a little bit, not too many games, but again, depending on what they're trying to pick, to me that says that they could be trying to go for the Aatrox up in the top lane for SPASH. Riven is basically the equivalent of Aatrox with a slight advantage. Cho'Gath ban coming out here from Muskego. That's targeting their Upen. That's the number 1 played champion for Upen. So it does look like they are trying to target ban specifics here. So SPASH getting rid of the Yi as well. And we'll see what the final ban from Muskego coming out here is going to be. and it's going to be the Diana. Diana is one of those flex champions right now, especially that SPASH has their top and mid lane open. It looks like Oddly Boosted is hovering over this Gnar, which is their most played champion so far this season. And they have a pretty high win record on it right now as well. So that's a nice tanky engage top lane champion right there. The new jungle pick coming out again. Let's go ahead and then the Kiana. Kiana coming out here from Muskego. That's going to be Corrupted Seraph's #1 played champion. And with Spash's final pick, it's going to be the Malphite. The Malphite coming out for Upin there. That's going to go ahead and be their second most played champion. So we're going to have, looks like a Malphite mid, Gnar top, Jinx Thresh bot side, and an Olaf jungle. And then on the other side, they were having the Heimerdinger. I assume Heimerdinger's going top? Because you got the new jungle. Kiana, I would assume, is going mid to go ahead and deal with that Malphite. Malphite's one of those tough ones because he's just able to get so tanky in the mid as well. And depending on what build that Upin goes with, you could easily see the one-shot Thresh where he's building all AP. Or you could really see the ultra tank Malphite engage come out, in which you're just going to see a bunch of tank items being built on him, and his job is simply to go ahead and press R while Jinx and Olaf just really tear everybody down. So nice CC chains coming out here from SPASH. I like the engages on both teams here with the Nautilus and Thresh both being able to go ahead and hook. As far as CC goes, personally, I give it to Nautilus a little bit more just because of the ultimate, being able to go ahead and hit multiple knockups with the ultimate. Thresh's ult is nice as far as the slowdown there. Nunu has the ability to come in and knock up, slow down, and even stun, depending on where they are. If I'm being honest, I'm going to go ahead and give the advantage over to SPASH just because of that Gnar Malphite. They have a much larger front line. They have a lot more engage with Malphite than they do the Nautilus and Nunu. He just has the ability to press R and jump into the team fight. What we will really need to see here, though, is the bot lane. If Jinx is able to get a couple early kills, she's going to snowball really well into the mid and late game. Same thing for Misfortune, but I really like Jinx does have the ability for the global ult. She has a little bit more of a CC kit. So it's really going to come down to, I think, those two plays. Obviously, everybody memes that the jungler, the better jungler wins. Jungle does have the most impact on the game, even though they've kind of nerfed the experience. So to me, I think that's where Olaf has the advantage right now on the current patch, is that Olaf is able to go ahead and do a lot more early damage, which is important because the experience isn't as easily gained for the jungle role anymore. So Nunu has the ability to do the engage, has a lot more regen there as well with the chomp. But ultimately, I think this should be a pretty good game. Thank you, everybody that's joining us today here. Thank you for supporting your schools. Appreciate that. Go ahead and get the overlay back up and ready to go. So as we go ahead and hop in. Let's see here. Can't turn that on yet. So this is also going to be the second week of divisional play here too. So these games start to be really important. Week 1 is an out of conference. So you play the other schools that are within your division that aren't in your conference. So take a quick peek too at some of the standings in Division 1 there. Sitting in the Shurima Conference, so all the conferences have League of Legends lore to go with them here. Sitting at undefeateds right now, we have DC Everest at 2-0, Horlick at 2-0, Arrowhead and Stevens Point both sitting at 1-0. So each school is waiting to go ahead and report a match. Milton's at 1-1 Waterford, Muskego, and Union Grove are all looking for their first win. So as we're going to go ahead and jump into the Rift here. Drop the overlay here real quick so you can take a quick peek at the runes if you so choose. I'm not really seeing anything that really strikes me as out of the ordinary. So we will go ahead and we will full screen this, get everything back up and running. Get everybody set up here properly. All right, we are try to get everything all set here. Not seeing any sort of early game invade. If this was solo queue or flex, we might see a little 5-man cheese invading into the other jungle there in order to try to get some early game kills. But I think the mentality of a lot of schools now that this is competitive play and every game matters, we start to see a lot more passive play being done because they know what's on the line. Basically, we have only an 8-week season, so in order to swing a game within the first minute and a half, to potentially throw the game right away and give that early game lead going over to another school, both schools playing a lot more passively. Milliman, Overwatch is a high school esport. We just had it last semester. We have 3 divisions of Overwatch, so it is a thing. All right, so both junglers electing to go ahead and start on the bot side of the map. Olaf here is able to go ahead and clear a little bit faster here. We do see that he's going with the Gromp here. Gromp's a little bit tanky right away, but Olaf has a lot of regen early game. We see an early level 2 gank coming into the mid here from Nunu onto the Malphite. Takes a good chunk down, so that's going to mean that Malphite is going to have to play a little bit passive and a little bit more respectful. No, Milliman, SPASH did not compete in Overwatch last semester, but they can next semester. Up here on the top lane, this is going to be an interesting lane to watch, just because Heimerdinger early game will have the advantage on Gnar. We'll be able to go ahead and push Gnar up under this turret and really keep them pinned there. Unfortunately, once Gnar gets about 1,200 gold and he's able to go ahead and go back and get that first cloak item, probably on the Spirit Visage or for the Hex Drinker, Heimerdinger is definitely going to fall off after that first buy. SPASH did not have a Overwatch team, but next semester they could. So when we come back next year, we will offer Overwatch again. So make sure that you are checking the Discord and being proactive and join in the competition. Again, looking at the map here, early game, Olaf has a slight advantage here. Again, you see him able to go ahead and regen up pretty quick there. It looks like Olaf is just electing to go ahead and go for the full clear on his side. Nunu is electing to go ahead and start getting that scuttle crab in the river right here in order to give themselves the early vision in the river. We see a lot of junglers prioritize the scuttle crabs right now, given the current patch, just because that's such a long vision in the river. In order to keep track of where the enemy jungler is, we see a nice ward right here coming out too as well. So that way we can go ahead and track where the junglers are for both teams. So again, back and forth here in the mid lane, both teams. I don't imagine that we're going to see much. We do see that Heimerdinger is pretty pushed up. We could be seeing Olaf is relatively low here, but not going to go ahead and go for the gank. Probably just smart to go ahead and back there in order to go and buy. Most likely going to go ahead and complete the first section of their jungle item. See some pings coming out here in the mid. we might see if Nunu is going to come. So now Malphite has this warded. Some pings coming out here. Ooh, nice shot there by the MF, getting to bounce one of those off and hit Jinx, dealing quite a bit of damage. Here we see a snowball coming in. Malphite's going to be there. Don't know if he's going to be able to go ahead and get out of the way. Not able to go ahead and get away. We're going to see some double CC chains coming down here. Going to go ahead and have to blow the flash. So that's an important flash that Muskego got out of Malphite. Malphite is 6, so again, I imagine that both schools are going to start backing here and start completing those first items, or at least getting the first component to an item. We see that Olaf did back and is starting the Stalker Blade here. Heimerdinger, again, pushing up. Heimerdinger needs to be careful because he is going to have the early game advantage here, but notice how there's no vision down here in the river. So if Olaf decides to come top, he's got a free gank on Heimerdinger. And unless Heimerdinger blows flash or uses that early game stun, it's going to be a quick trade. All right, we see that both junglers have spotted each other out. Do keep an eye on this too, because Olaf is 4. Olaf should be able to go ahead and, if he wanted to, Olaf could go ahead and try to get this first dragon down here, which is going to be an Infernal, which is going to be pretty important for both teams here. It does scale AD and AP ratios, which is really important. Oh, we see the Kiana going in, and there's the Ignite. That's the first blood going over to Muskego. So nice play there by the Kiana, diving in, using the turret there in order to drop her ultimate down there and deal some additional damage, proc the Electrocute. That's going to give priority over the river here. Nautilus going in on the Thresh here. I don't know if they have the CC, but it is going to be enough. Oh, Nautilus being a little bit too greedy. There's the heal coming out. We do see that, again, Nunu is going to be able to go ahead and secure this Drake at the cost of a heal and a flash used by the bot lane. Kiana coming down now. The slow coming out of Misfortune. Misfortune trying to go ahead and get one. Oh, one hit away. There's the heal and the lantern coming out from Thresh there in order to save his own life. Well played there by the bot lane of SPASH. Again, Muskego doing all that they can to try to get some of these kills coming out here. We do see that Nunu is kind of camping down here in the grass. We do see, oh, the Gnar ultimate, and that's going to be a nice 1v1 coming out there in the top lane. SPASH gets one back in their favor. That's a good kill in order to get as well up there on the top lane for that Gnar. Meanwhile, Olaf getting a bit of an advantage in the jungle here. Ooh, Malphite coming in behind, and there's that R. And that's going to be a quick double kill going over to Jinx. That's exactly what Muskego didn't want to happen. Jinx with now a 2-kill advantage on the bot lane here, and that's going to mean a huge advantage. Again, we're starting to see some of these first item buys coming back here. Misfortune is able to go ahead and get the BF sword. Meanwhile, up in the top, Gnar completes the Phage. Heimerdinger completing the Lost Chapter, gets a little bit of AP and a little bit of mana for some sustain up there in lane. It does look like Olaf right now is potentially looking to go for a Righteous Glory build with this Crystalline Bracer here that he built. That usually builds into a Righteous Glory, which will allow him to speed up and essentially run into the enemy team a little bit faster. Ooh, Kiana able to go ahead and pick off the Olaf. That is a heads-up play there from the Kiana. She's now looking to go ahead and go into the mid. She's got a 2-0 advantage in kills going over. Able to go ahead and get some nice damage out here. So again, this Kiana pick is probably going to fall off a little bit depending on, again, which build that this Malphite goes with. If Malphite builds a lot of armor, that armor is not going to get shredded, especially by a lethality build Kiana. So we might have to see potentially something built like a Last Whisper in order to get the percentage armor penetration. Ooh, and we saw a nice Rift Herald sneak up here coming from the Kiana and the Nunu. We're going to see all 3 members coming up here into the top lane. Nunu coming out. Oh, there's one. Oh, the snowball somehow misses. And we're going to have to see Olaf and Malphite rotating top. There's not a big enough wave here in order for Nunu to drop the rift and make it worthwhile. Again, Olaf and Malphite looking to go ahead and make a play. Muskego knows that they're there. There's the ultimate coming out there from the Malphite. Malphite extremely tanky. There comes the silence, and that's going to be a nice kill going over to the Nunu. Olaf has to use Smite and his ultimate in order to go ahead and get away. Little bit too aggressive there coming out of SPASH. That Malphite ultimate doesn't have much weight behind it. It doesn't have the AP ratio yet to go with it. As you can see here, this is all that he's got. He's only got the Seeker's Arm Guard, which only gives armor and a little bit of AP. Had he gone for maybe like a Lost Chapter route, might have been able to go ahead and smash a little bit harder, although that's still only 20 AP. But again, now we're starting to see a little bit more of an advantage coming out here from Muskego. But right now, SPASH, in my opinion, still has the advantage in the bot lane. As you can see that Jinx has the completed Infinity Edge here. They also have about a 2k gold lead. And they have the kill differential. So, yes, Rocket League is a high school esport. We are featuring it right now. We have 45 teams competing in Rocket League, varsity and JV. Check out our website for some more information. Nunu coming up top here. Able to go ahead, drop in the ultimate, but I don't think he's going to be able to go ahead. Oh, nice chop coming out there at the last second. See a lot of damage coming down onto the Gnar. About to go into Mega Gnar form, so going to get quite a bit of that health back. Again, the advantage for SPASH is really down here in the bot lane. If Jinx didn't have these 3 kills, I would say the advantage is going to go to Muskego. But Jinx has 3 kills. MF has 0 kills. So the advantage is definitely in SPASH's favor. Despite being down 2 kills, Olaf is using that that easy wave clear that he does have. As you can see, he's got about a 20 CS advantage down here. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Kiana should be expected to have this kind of advantage over an early game Malphite. Jinx with 3 kills. So, for those of you that maybe aren't super familiar, oh, Kiana getting caught out, and that's going to go ahead and be the flash and ultimate coming out. She's trying to get away. Oh, but there's the Kobe snipe coming out of the Jinx. Able to go ahead and secure one of those kills. Olaf finding himself in a tough situation. Flashes over, misses the wall. Oh, Olaf is in a tough spot, and they're standing on the lantern. So Olaf can't get to the lantern. The MF ultimate coming out and is going to go ahead and secure the kill. That was well played by Muskego. Thresh threw the lantern out there in order to try to help his teammate. But Muskego all stood on the lantern, so he couldn't take it. And that's going to be another nice pick coming out there for SPASH. And that's another kill going over to Jinx. Jinx now sitting on a kill streak there with a 450 gold bounty on her head. Thrush also coming out at 2-0-2. So, again, this bot lane for SPASH is snowballing. They are getting a huge advantage right now. Muskego has the advantage, I would say, on the rest of the map. But when you have a super fed ADC like we see in Jinx down here, it's tough. It's tough. We see the Rift Herald being dropped in the mid. The wave is there as well. So we're going to see, I believe this one's Harry coming in. Harry is the first Rift Herald, and I believe it's Sally is the second one. Or Shelly, sorry, Shelly. Shelly is the second one. As they've so named them now in the LCS and the LEC. Again, here we see the Mega Gnar form coming out up top there. Mega Gnar starting to get a little bit of an advantage because they picked up some Mercury Treads, which give the magic resist. So again, just a little bit of magic resist really slows down Heimerdinger. There's going to be not much that Heimerdinger is able to do up there in the up in the top lane. We do see that it looks like SPASH is starting to focus around a little bit of this Drake here. This would be the third one that's available, or sorry, the second one that's available. We see a TP coming in. There's the Malphite ultimate. Oh, big chunks coming down. Meanwhile, the Gnar TP's in for the flank play, and that's going to be another kill going over to the side of SPASH. That gives them priority now over this Drake. And there is nothing really that they can do. Oh, got to go ahead and use the MF ultimate. Props to trying to do it, but that's a risky play. Now your ultimate's going to be down for quite a while. So it's a good Drake going over to the side of SPASH with now the next one coming out. Oh, that's a huge Thresh hook. And that's going to be a blown flash and a heal used there out of the bot side for Muskego. Nautilus has no chance here. Going to go ahead and have to back. He's about one shot away in order to lose his life. Coming out from this Jinx. Jinx poking him and interrupting his back in order to go ahead and keep him there. There's really not much that Nautilus can do. We do see that Nunu is coming around here. And SPASH knows he's here. So they're going to go ahead and wisely back away from this engage. Nunu just needs to let go of that world's biggest snowball. Qiyana is down here, but again, need to be careful. You got to respect this lead that the Jinx and Thresh have in the bot lane. All right, we're starting to get to about the mid-game portion of this game here. We see that Malphite does have ultimate back up ready to go. Olaf has ultimate ready to go. For the side of Muskego here, Nunu does have ultimate getting real close. Nautilus and MF. Well, MF is close to having her ultimate back too. Nautilus has his readily available as well. I haven't had a chance too much to really see down in the bot lane, but it does look like Nautilus is getting pushed up quite a bit here. Alexa go with the Ninja Tabbies, which is going to make sense given the fact that SPASH is pretty much all attack damage, and Malphite's really going to be your only AP damage coming in. See the Mega Gnar form coming out here up against the Heimerdinger. Going to go ahead and jump on him. This might be a solo kill, but no, there's a flash from the Heimerdinger in order to get away. Again, Nautilus getting too far extended out from underneath that tower. We see Qiyana coming in here. She's got a 2-level advantage. Oh, dodges the Olaf hook. And we're going to go ahead and see. Here comes the ultimates there coming out. Oh, this is going to be a big play. Which direction is it going to go? The chop coming down, and it's not enough. Oh, Qiyana drops the Ignite, able to go ahead and get one. Gnar's here as well. Qiyana doesn't know it. Going to go ahead and have to blow flash. Gnar not able to go ahead and hop over the wall. Qiyana looking for the play here. She's got a Heimerdinger. Jinx able to go ahead and secure the first turret. Misses the stun there. Oh, and Heimerdinger just misses disrupting the back there. Again, this Jinx and Thresh just really taking the bot lane. That's going to be first turret. So that's a lot of gold now here. So we can go ahead and take a quick peek at the gold advantage here. If we look down in the bot lane, Jinx has almost a 3,000 gold lead herself over the Misfortune for Muskego. So that's a whole item. That's a huge item down there. Meanwhile, Qiyana's got about an 1,100,000 gold lead over the Malphite in the mid lane. So that's in Muskego's favor. Olaf doing Olaf things, doing some of those hyper clears. And other than that, I mean, it's top lane is relatively close. As we see here, Heimerdinger's got to get out of there. Oh, he canceled his back. Oh, no, Heimerdinger. Oh, you were hidden, bud. Oh, that's unfortunate. That's 4 members now top here. Jinx is going to go ahead and take this wave and go ahead and push it into the turret. Meanwhile, 3 members strong are going to go ahead and look to rotate mid, but I think they should just go ahead and take Shelly here in order to go ahead and get another advantage. Jinx should be able to... Yep. There you go. Before I can even say it, Jinx does it. She's just going to go ahead and start shredding everything. She's got the completed Runins and Infinity Edge. She's a beast. She is tough to deal with, and Honestly, at this point, yeah, we do need to see Kiana rotating with those Mobies, as she does have now her first lethality item completely built. Heimerdinger does have the Luden's Echo built, but again, if you look here, this is all Gnar needs. Gnar needs Black Cleaver and the Spectral Cowl, and he's just a force to be reckoned with up there in the top lane. He can really split push the rest of this game. He doesn't even need to focus with his team. Gnar can just go ahead and split push and really put Muskego on the back foot. So when he split pushes, that means that Muskego has to take one of their team members away, as we see here that SPASH is going for the Drake. And Mountain Drake is really good right now. That's going to go ahead and add armor and magic resist. So that's going to be important for Thresh, Malphite, and Olaf. And Gnar, sorry. I might have said two at once. Again, oh! That's going to be a flash out of the Nunu and the Jinx ultimate. And that's going to be the Kiana ultimate coming out. We see the Berserker coming out. Or, sorry, the Unstoppable from Olaf. Olaf hits one of those axes. Excuse me. Nautilus trying to get out. Blows the flash. Here comes the MF ultimate, but she just doesn't have enough damage, only having that completed Essence Reaver. So that's going to be a lot blown. Here come Shelly. Going to go ahead and be summoned here. That's going to be the second Rift Herald coming out here. She's got no wave to push this. Olaf is going to go ahead and tank a little bit here in order to allow Shelly to go ahead and take less damage. So SPASH is looking to go ahead and push. There's another wave coming here. SPASH is going to go ahead and take this opportunity to go ahead and reset. Go back to base and get some additional completed items. Thresh now sitting on a Locket and Knight's Vow. Both are really important support items. And we do see that Malphite is going for that one-shot Malphite. We see the completed Luden's Echo there, which means Malphite's going to press R on something squishy. And Muskego's squishies are going to be Kiana and MF and Heimerdinger. So the three damage dealers are super squishy. And if they group up, oh, that's a disgusting Thresh hook coming out. There's the Flay. There's the ultimate from Jinx coming out as well. SPASH is just rolling right now. Gonna go ahead and have to group up. There's that. Again. There you go. One shot Malphite. All right, SPASH sitting at 20-0. They got almost a 10k gold lead. I would assume that they're going to go ahead and take this turret, maybe even look for the second tier turret, as the respawn timers are sitting at about 30 seconds here for Muskego. There's not much of a wave here. Maybe if they push this one in, they're going to go ahead and look to go ahead and go Baron. Or they're just going to say, we're going to go ahead and start cracking into the base. And they're going to go ahead and go for it. There we go. They're going to go ahead and take the Lantern there, and they're going to start heading to Baron. If they get Baron here, we are going to go ahead and see a nice power play coming out here from SPASH. They're going to go ahead and shred down this Baron really fast just because of how fed Jinx is. Jinx sitting on 3 completed items, 4 if you include the boots. Going to go ahead and back. Jinx sitting on about 1,800 items. Oh, 2,200 now with the Baron. So that's going to be another huge gold advantage. That pushes it to about 12,000 for SPASH. Look for all of them to go ahead and back here using the Baron buff. And they're going to go ahead and complete a lot of items. It looks like Jinx is going for the Guardian Angel there with the BF and Stopwatch. Malphite getting, what was that, the Lost Chapter? The Fiendish Codex, my bad. Meanwhile, again, Gnar, huge tank. Huge tank. You got the Adaptive Helm here. You got the Merc Treads, and now we got the Bramble Vest out here as well, too. So some Grievous Wounds actions coming out as well. Honestly, I would say in draft here, the biggest question mark that I have on this game is probably going to go ahead and be the Heimerdinger top. I know it's a bit of a comfort pick coming out from Muskego. I would probably consider something a little bit more tanky, right? Like, in a team composition like a 5v5 team fight, Heimerdinger doesn't really fit in as far as the top lane goes. There we see the Malphite ultimate coming in. Just the Heimerdinger doesn't help a ton in team fights, right? Like, could really use some sort of tank or some other sort of engage. So if we go ahead and look at kind of just what we see there, unfortunately, looking at the champions that Muskego primarily plays, they really don't have a top laner, which I think is the tough part. If I'm looking at their solo queue history, there's really nobody dedicated to that lane. So it's really hard if you don't have experience in the top lane in order to pick something into a team composition. This is why when we have a lot of schools that are joining, one of our top priorities is to say, like, have your students pick 3 or 4 champions and learn to play a role. There's 5 roles in League of Legends. Each are as important as the next. And so if you have a student that learns comfortability within that lane, in that position, and has a champ pool of about 3 or 4, it allows you to have flexibility. It allows you to do counter matchups. It allows you to draft a little bit different. And so Steven's point here, given their team composition here, they have a very well-rounded team in the fact that they have somebody that's dedicated in each position, right? So that's a huge advantage, in my opinion, right away, is the fact that you have somebody that knows that role inside and out. They play that, and some of these players, judging by their match history, have been playing for at least 6 years. And so when you play for 6 years, you're guaranteed to pick up some champs. You're going to get good at certain champions, and even if you stop playing that lane, right? So, like, even if they haven't played top lane since Season 5, you've still played that position and understand the mechanics that go into it. So, as a new school coming in, or if anybody that's watching and wants to pick up League of Legends, pick one role and learn that role inside and out. And, like I said, come up with 3 to 4 champions. When I first started playing this game, which was about 5 years ago, I picked support. It's one of the most important roles there is in the game. You need map awareness. You need to really save and focus on your ADC in order to make those plays to help engage team fights and keep them safe and know when to peel. I'm good at that. I'm also a huge tank player. I know that I'm overly aggressive and that I like to run in sometimes stupidly and start a team fight when maybe I shouldn't. Muskego doing their best here in order to try to hold off here, but it's just not going to be enough. SPASH is going to go ahead and take this one handedly. I think there are things that Muskego should be really proud of out of this game. Although the scoreline doesn't show it, there are things that they did well. The early game, Muskego was on the front foot. I think they were doing a much better job of keeping vision. They're doing a great job of rotating priorities and looking for ganks in lane. Nunu, right away, early game, gave the advantage over to Kiana by that level 2 gank. That was a huge swing right there in the mid lane. That allowed Kiana in order to go ahead and get that early game lead. The hard part, though, is that they lost bot lane. They lost bot lane early. SPASH never gave it up. I think, too, Olaf literally just focused on farming. And Olaf didn't really gank any lanes. He made his presence known once or twice, but he got caught out early in the river a couple of times there, and then he just played passive. He just let his lanes be lanes and do what they needed to do. All of SPASH played really passive. Gnar pretty much sat under tower for the first like 10 minutes, basically. And once he was able to go ahead and get that first part of the adaptive helm there with the cloak, then he was able to be tanky enough in order to just go ahead and deal with that Heimerdinger up in the top lane. So there are things that both schools could have done better. There are things that both schools should be proud of walking away out of this matchup today. Muskego unfortunately falls to 0-3. SPASH goes on to 2-0. But overall, I mean, I would say it was a really good game on both sides. Like I said, early game. We'll go ahead and take a look here at some of the damage charts here. This is not to be, here, let me go ahead and get rid of that overlay out of your way there. But Jinx coming in at about 24,000, which is to be expected with a champion that is that far ahead. Olaf, this again makes sense as far as damage at the 6,500. Getting found out in the river there a couple of times and not being able to do much as far as damage. We do see that Nunu, once he got behind, wasn't able to help a ton either. So team drafting, team composition. Again, here's another thing. This is a big tip that I always give to any school that's just starting to. After you've developed what roles that you're going to be, is play 5v5 flex together. Learn to play as a team. Learn to develop synergies, communication, teamwork. Even spend 20, 30 minutes each day just coming up with draft strategies. Write out everyone's champion pool and who they're super familiar with, and come up with drafts. Come up with strategies each week. Your advisor and coach has access to the roster sheets. They can give you the IGN for the other team that you're playing. Ban them out. Ban them out early game there. I assume the Jinx player for SPASH has the ability to jump up onto other ones, but you could easily have just really target banned that champion and took away all of his comfort picks and forced him to put them on something that maybe they're not comfortable on. There's a lot of strategy that goes in with competitive play like this that you don't see in normal draft. In normal draft, you're just like, you know what? I'm playing Scion top. I can't stand playing against Darius. I'm going to ban Darius. Whereas with a 5v5 team composition, my mentality might be, I'm playing Scion. What don't I want to play? I maybe don't want to play against a Maokai because of the stun and the CC that allows me to be easily ganked. A Renekton can be a pain because can dash in, dash out, and has a little bit more damage. But, the play style completely changes from solo queues. So thank you for everybody that tuned in today. Appreciate it. I will take a quick peek here. I do know that we have another match of the week next week. Let me go ahead and take a quick peek. For week 4, it is going to go ahead and be, I believe it's Wilmot. I'm pulling it up here real quick. It is going to be Wilmot against Wausau West for League of Legends. So that should be a really, really good game. Again, Wausau hasn't lost in over a year. So they graduated a couple players. So we'll go ahead and see if they can hold on to that that win streak of over a year. So tune in next week at about 4 p.m. If you want your game featured, go ahead and fill out the form that's available on Discord and get featured on stream. So otherwise, thank you for joining us. See you next week.